the operatives in the last 10 days. I'll come for you, John.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2021 action science fiction film Hunters, a film that is written and directed by Justin Lee, who primarily makes B-movies, although looking at his filmography I noticed that he did make the Bigfoot film from a couple of years ago, Big Legend, which is a film I really enjoyed. The film stars Phil Burke, Nicole Craner and Ed Marone. And this film focuses on, it's set in the near future. There's some kind of disease or virus that's wiped out much of humanity, as you get many of these films. Some of the human race is mutated into these creatures, so the rest of mankind is left to scratch around in hiding, and there are people go out on scouting missions for days on end, trying to get supplies and also to try and take out as many of these mutated creatures as possible to try and make the area safe. And essentially that is essentially the film in a nutshell. It doesn't really get any more complex than that. What are my thoughts on Hunters? I don't really have a huge amount of positivity to really give you on this movie, which is a shame. I don't mind low budget films if the premise is interesting and they make the most of their budget here. Now, the positives here with the film is the premise. A post-apocalyptic film, mutated creatures running about, man pitted against these mutated creatures. Why not? You can make a decent, entertaining film out of that, and a lot of us will watch it and enjoy it. I just feel really that this one massively misses the mark because there's no engaging characters in here at all. There's nobody really to get behind. I mean, it's got a very limited cast anyway. The primary cast member here is Phil Burke's character, who basically this film is this in a nutshell. This character that Phil Burke plays, you see him out and about on scouting missions, kind of narrating to us, and then he'll be scouting around looking for supplies. He'll come across a mutated creature. There'll be a battle will ensue. He'll come out on top, and then he'll head back to base. There'll be small interactions at the base with some guy at the base that kind of is in charge of supplies and on the radio. Or there's a woman at the base, I think Grace, played by Nicole Craner, who he chats to about this, that, and the other, and then he'll go back out again on a scouting mission. He'll run into a mutated monster, a battle will ensue, he'll come out on top, rinse and repeat. And they spice it up occasionally with him running into human enemies out and about on his supply missions, or human friendlies that he teams up with occasionally, briefly, whatever. And that is the film in a nutshell, and an occasional interaction with his superiors on a screen. That's it. There's no story to speak of. There's no narrative. There's nothing to root for. There's no ultimate goal here other than survive and kill these mutated creatures. There's no goal like, if we get to this place, there's a chance that we've got a chance to survive or move the human species forward or do this or do that. Or it is basically just that over and over again, and it's dull. And the reason why it's dull is the action isn't particularly good, obviously because of the budget. The music's pretty lackluster. The performances are nothing to write home about. The only bright spot really is I thought the effects for the mutated creatures were pretty decent. They looked a little bit like Swamp Thing, I suppose you could argue, or like a trauma film sort of thing. That's kind of effects. They were pretty cheap and very low budget effects, but they worked for the most part. They looked mutated, I suppose, the best compliment I can give these creatures. But they weren't very good at killing. You keep getting told in this film that these are deadly creatures and they're evolving and they're learning to speak again and this, that, and the other and read. but you don't see any evidence of it in the film. You don't see any evidence of this evolution of these mutated creatures, and it wouldn't have made sense anyway, because this was our first introduction to these creatures, so we didn't know what the base level was. Were they, grunting, unevolved creatures, which is what we are presented with throughout the whole film, and then we're also expected to believe that they're evolving as well at the same time. So yeah, there's not really a lot that you're going to enjoy here in this film. It's one of those that you might see on a supermarket shelf for a couple of quid in a few months, or you might see 99p rental at Amazon Prime or something like that. If you like really schlocky, low budget films, then there might be something here for you to enjoy, but don't go into this thinking there's anything remotely high budget or high class about it, because you'll be disappointed. It's a pretty low budget effort, not much interest here. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. It's not a very good film, unfortunately. Probably one to avoid for many of you out there. So thanks for watching. I hope you liked the review, and I will be back with plenty more content on the channel very, very soon.